Test. Welcome back, Warriors! It's time for another Warriors Den. So we're so happy to have you all here as our honored guests. So yeah, it's Warriors Den time. We're back to announce Year 7 Season 3 title update. Who won?
The first.
So it'll go live next week on September 14th. So mark those calendars, or if you have ADHD like me, just say you're going to remember, and then it never happens.
Has that been my problem this whole time?
Possibly.
I got to think about
you may
that,
want to seek help. So Nolan,
Not the first time I've heard that.
I think you've got some news on stuff that viewers can earn today via the drops of the Twitch.
That's right. So thank you very much, Brian. Yes, so Twitch drops. We're back. We're live for another amazing show. And if you're watching us on Twitch, which, I mean, you should be at this point, make sure that you go in there and link your UB Connect account to your Twitch account. And that way, for every 30 minutes you're watching us, you're going to get a scavenger crate. And at the end of the show, we're going to choose some lucky winners to win 100,000K still. I mean, it's the same thing. 100,000 steel, which is going to be great to buy all those amazing new things coming down the line. So new heroes on MTX, all that stuff.
All the stuff.
All the stuff.
100K goes a long way.
It does.
So make sure to not only link those accounts, but also keep an eye on those drops, because you have to redeem them to earn the next tier. And there's always someone who's like, no, I didn't redeem it at the end of the stream. And then I feel bad for them for exactly half a second before I go, ha ha.
Well, I mean, we tell you every time, but
that's why.
Yeah, that is why. But hey, we got something else really cool coming up later this month too. So we're super excited to announce that Into the Fray is coming back. That's right, 2023. It's going to get really competitive this year in For Honor, so we're excited for that. Into the Fray is going to run from September 30th to October 21st, and signups begin today. Right now, there's going to be a link. There is a link. It's already here on BATTLEPASS, so you can follow the link and go check it out. Sign up. For a bit of info here, we're going to have a $10,000 total prize pool for the Into the Fray, and we're going to have this split up into two divisions, the AM division, which stands for amateurs, and the Pro division, hence the Pro-Am thing, and I'm still, again, which one are you?
We're neither.
We're neither?
Yeah,
that's right. We can't sign up.
I was telling them,
right.
You weren't supposed to see.
I wasn't supposed to see. Oh, okay. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that. But so, listen, for the amateur division, this is something where you can sign up. But if you've never participated in one of these tournaments, however, if you were previously a finalist in Into the Fray 2022 or the Dominion Series, guess what? You're not an amateur anymore. You're now a pro. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, yes. So
you've been conscripted. Pros.
You have been, whether you like it or not, but you're there, so congratulations on all of that. But yeah, we're going to have, for the amateur division, though, we're going to have 4 qualifying pools, and the winner of those pools is going to move on to the Pro division, and the Pro division is going to be invitation only, so we're going to have previous Into the Fray winners, Dominion Series winners, etc. So get your teams together, sign up, and get ready for all of that. And finally, once we do get to the Pro division for the final qualifiers, we're going to have a big qualifier match and a grand finals match, which is going to stream on right here For Honor game on Twitch and all that stuff. So
Twitch.tv/For Honor.
There it is. Yeah. So anyway, very excited for that. So if you love some amazing competitive For Honor, look for the signups and make sure you keep watching. So,
yeah. So we got a lot to cover in today's Warriors Den. We've got everything from a new battle pass. We got new map realization. Nice. We got gameplay improvement that you're all going to love, and some of you might even like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll
pull the curtain off that one later. But first, let's check out this Year 7 Season 3 launch trailer. Oh, yeah, and here's the road. And now it's a trailer. We're professionals around here.
We definitely are.
Welcome, honored guests. Come pay tribute to the spirits of your ancestors. You know well the rules. Stay indoors at night. Fight not near water. Avoid wandering shadows. But above all, never eat the offerings. the living, the toil of your mortal soul. Let me end its anguish. The show is about to begin. Superstition. Fairy tales. How hungry can the dead be?
Welcome back. I'm joined once again on the couch by Mr. Y7S3. How are you doing today?
Pretty good yourself?
Doing well.
Awesome.
And then also returning on the show today is Raphael, Anastasia, and Alex. Welcome back to the Warriors Den. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Pretty
excited.
Very excited for this
There's
season.
coffee behind the cameras. If you guys,
Peaches right there. Old set.
no, it's all good.
The
It's,
whole thing, yeah.
it's any time before noon is still early, so
Yeah.
pass. So quick correction, real quick, if we can toss that roadmap back up, Max. So when we unveiled the Year 7 roadmap, there was a bit of a mistake. We said that Season 4 would start on December 14th. That was factually incorrect. It is actually December 7th. So you can look for Season 4 to start on December 7th and not December 14th like we previously told you. We weren't wrong. We just put a different day. No. So sorry if any confusion was caused by that. But yeah. So we've got a lot to go over with Year 7 Season 3, and there's a bit of a theme that I'm noting of deceit. So Raphael, actually, I'm way out of order today. I'm all
Pretty
messed
out
up.
of order.
First, we got to go over what's coming up in the TU.
GC's
Yeah.
JC's going to take
Yeah,
it before
right.
me.
So basically, I just want to give a quick recap of what's been going on. So for Year 7, our theme is really Swords of Injustice, right? And so as we're entering season 3, like every scene that had a theme, Season 3's theme is deceit, right? So Season 1's theme was heresy with the relic worshippers and having the Inquisitors and a lot of innocent people getting caught in the crossfire, all that sort of crazy stuff. Season 2 is about conquest with the Horkos Conquistadors going to the Aztec homeland. Yeah, right? Going into this, grabbing everything, getting a lot of trophies, bringing back the Aztecs with them. And so that was kind of difficult there a little bit, But then in Season 3, what we're doing is the Warriors are kind of downtrodden, there's not a lot of resources, not a lot of stuff going on. It's hard to live. It's hard to feed yourself. So they find themselves kind of really vulnerable to something that we call the Feast of the Ghost Festival, right?
Ooh.
And so clearly they're like, well, maybe something's kind of dark and not really good under this, but they feel like they don't have a choice, so they go towards it, right?
Nice.
And they go, well, we got to feed, we got to live, we got to survive. How are we going to do this? So they get inside, but surely there's nothing wrong under this, right? Like nothing bad can happen there,
Yeah,
all
no,
good.
not at all.
right? That's
Yeah.
what I figure.
Yeah, and I think
There's nothing going to happen.
nothing at all.
It's just
smooth sailing always.
It's fine.
I think we've got a season roadmap that we can take a quick peek at as well.
Yes.
Right? So we got all the stuff coming in TU1.
Yeah,
You can see
so
right here.
we got a new battle pass, Ghost Rites event pass, gameplay improvements that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Testing grounds also that I'm super psyched to talk about. Hero Fests, throwback event for Visions of the Kyoshi, so that's great.
So happy that
Yeah, I'm really happy.
gorgeous
It's been a while.
event.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super cool. And then title update 2, we're going to have our Halloween event, a new hero skin, new armor variations, another throwback event, the Zanhu's Gambit, which was pretty cool as well. And again, more Hero Fest with the dates that are all listed there.
Yeah, I think we got Kensei, Shigoki, and Warden.
Yeah, I don't remember offhand, but yeah.
No, that's it.
That's it. Then there you go.
Promise. I'm good on this
Brian.
one.
All right.
Good on this.
You good on that one? Okay.
Yeah. So, Raphael, you want to tell us about this deceit business?
Well, I hear you talking about deceit, and I see it everywhere. But actually, there's no deceit here. It's a big party.
Except for the
big
date
celebration
in December.
Yeah, this was deceit. I see. I've been deceived myself. So, to be honest, yeah, it's a big party, a celebration. It's a festival that the elite Wulin throw for their ancestors, and everyone's invited. So you sit down to a warrior. Yes, I agree. Actually, everyone can come. They pass by and they celebrate the ancestors of the elite Wulins with them. It's a great festival. It's actually a real life festival. It's called the Hungry Ghost Festival. And the idea is that once in the year, for 1 month, the realm of the dead opens up a bit so that the spirits can come into the realm of the living. And then the ancestors are there, and you offer them, you have offerings of food, you offer them entertainments. Usually it's inspired by the repertoire of theater, opera, puppet shows, so a lot of things.
And dinner and a movie.
Yeah, really great stuff.
For the ghosts.
Yes, for the ghosts. Only the ghosts.
Only the ghosts.
There's something. So it's a big celebration. But there are some rules and maybe some form of uneasiness.
I love a dinner with rules. It's my favorite thing. Invite a bunch of people over, have a lot of rules. Yeah. They're going to love that.
Yeah, and they will follow them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Do you invite ghosts to your dinners?
I mean, personally, I do, but I think most people don't.
Well, if you invite them, maybe people might feel a bit chilly. I'm not sure. But anyway, there are some rules.
There's always a cold spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some things that you should avoid.
Yeah, that's what the empty chair is for. Yeah.
Good. Do you sit on the chair?
No, that's the ghost chair.
And you
it's
don't eat their food,
We
right?
talked about ghost chairs.
Okay.
Yeah, with Larry.
Oh, I see. So,
sorry, you're saying
the
Hungry Ghost Festival.
Yes, and there's some rules to follow there. So, the living, there should not mix that much with the nature of the dead. So you should keep some distance, or the two natures might mix. For instance, one of the rules would be do not fight at night, because the night is the time of the dead. It's the time they are the most powerful. Don't push on the shoulder of your friend, because it extinguishes their inner fire. Don't get married during that month. Don't start a business. Don't stand near cold places like forests or water, because it's a place that is really associated with the spirits.
Super spooky.
And especially don't disturb the altars, and don't eat the offerings. But
so Forest Lake at night is just your 3 strikes, you're out, right?
And the food. That's really important.
Oh, okay.
So some rules, but it's a big party. Big party, many rules, many people. I'm sure no one will break the rules.
No, of course
I'm
not.
sure
Why
this
would
is
they do
not
that?
the intent. Everyone follow the rules.
Okay, so and you guys can look forward to delving into this more with the. We've got a lot of map realization going on. We've got just a lot to go through. So why don't we start at the high level? Anastasia, you can take us through the inspiration, and I think we got a mood board.
Yes. So as Raphael just tell everybody, we are having a feast and festival. So to bring this festival, visually it means that we are gonna have a lot of vivid colors, bright colors. We're gonna have a lot of food offerings as elements of the festival. Of course, it's Wulin, so definitely is going to be a lot of Chinese traditional food, very tasty. Yeah, there you go.
The forbidden dumpling.
Yeah, yes, but you cannot eat.
No.
But it's there. It's there as a food offering for the ghosts, and also different gifts for the ghosts. As well, in this season, we have a deceit. So the question was how to visualize this seed, right? So first of all, we have this contrast between warm colors and cool shadows, warm light and shadows. Then we have this contrast between people. We have elites and less fortunate ones. Then
the struggle bus warriors of Heathmore.
yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So even though they are celebrating all together, you still feel the tension between them, still feel that something is a little bit off, because usually they don't do this, right? So it's, yeah. And also with ghosts.
Feel that push pull and see it visualized
Yeah.
the map.
Exactly. Also, we are bringing the theme of the theater. What can we see it for as a theater? We have actors there that are acting and pretending, being in different people, and we have spectators. The question is, who is actors and who is spectators? That's
And who's a ghost? Yeah.
exactly.
So,
exactly.
you guys have done a great job. Belvedere looks incredible, and Alex, talk about all the stuff.
So at the Belvedere map now, it is the Ghost Festival. You can see that it's all set up, ready to feed the ghosts. It's set at twilight, where it's just getting a little bit dark. Not too dark, not quite night yet. Maybe you want to go home soon. Not going to tell you what to do. But, and we have this kind of dichotomy between it being very serene and also very exciting. So on the lake itself, there are fireflies, there's water lanterns. It's beautiful. There's also fireworks that are bursting, and they're loud and noisy, very fun. And you see this elsewhere too. There's all this theater drapery that's very soft and very plush. The lighting is really warm, and there's also a bunch of people spectating the entertainment, watching the fights, getting ready for everything.
I love seeing everybody just party down in the map. Like this guy up here, he's having a great time.
Oh,
Yeah, best seat in the house.
Really following the rules.
Oh,
Yeah,
3
and
sheets to the
speaking
wind.
of
And
following the rules, you'll also find people eating some of the offerings.
it's
I'm
the
sure-
minions, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always the
Always
minions.
the minions. I'm sure that nothing bad could possibly come of this.
They're going to donk it up for all of us, aren't they?
Yeah. But throughout the map as well, too, the question that you have to ask yourself is everything what it seems?
Dun, dun,
We've
dun.
been pretty upfront about the offerings. We shouldn't do that. But
Yeah, I think there was even a little sign that said no touchy.
yeah.
Yeah. You can't get minions to do anything except what they want to
so it
do.
doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah. I think they are illiterate.
Yeah, that's what
So yeah, I think did we touch on everything? Did we go over all the
And now
the
the
stuff?
menus.
Yeah,
The menus have also been really updated for this season. So we'll start with the landing page, which has this really beautiful shadow puppet
Love
theater
this.
effect. It's got multiple layers, so it's really, really unique. Very, very neat.
I wish it could just always be Nusha there. That would be great.
The map is supposed to evoke the feeling of looking at a traditional Chinese painting.
When I first saw this, I was like, oh, I love seeing Heathmore this way. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
It's going to make it harder for the knights to find the volcano, and so all of that is a win for me.
And all of the other in-game realizations has the bits of the Belvedere map. So you've got the water with floating lanterns. There's the room full of theater curtains and full of incense.
And like
Very
it's just like Belvedere is already a very beautiful
Yeah.
map, and to like level it up a bit, not and to really level up our minions here with that epic facial hair straight out of your favorite truck stop. But yeah, all the realization looks incredible. The team has really done
The
a
event
great
team
job on
put
it.
so much effort into trying to make the season really unique.
I mean, spoopy season is For Honor season, right? Because we got Valentine's and then we got spoopy season. So I think before we head out, we got a few things to go over because with Year 7 Season 3, we also have a new Battle Pass. So we got some stuff coming in the Battle Pass that you can check out. And first up, we have... Here it is. Yeah, we've got the Deceitful Festival Battle Outfit. I love this blue. I can foresee this going on a certain Vanguard's drip. And we've got Deceitful Nature Battle Outfit as well. You may start to see a bit of a theme here with the naming. And then we've got the Deceitful Performer Effect for all your favorite Edge Wardens. Do it. They need it. And if being edgy with red isn't your thing, we've also got the Deceitful Thespian Effect. So you can get some ghostly, ghastly blues in there. And then we've got the Deceitful Stranger, no doubt inspired by Chinese opera, and definitely not your favorite left-handed protagonist. And then Shadowplay Signature. This takes me back to my youth and a lot of Robin Hood films. So yeah, you can check all of these out in the Battle Pass. Oh, right, we got the Nine-Toothed Death Execution. Say that 10 times fast. If you've ever wanted to bop your enemies in the face with a rake and then scoop them up and take out the trash, you can do it now. And then here's a quick sneak peek at the deceitful weapons that are coming with the Battle Pass. So there's just a few. We'll have the full video here in just a minute. But you can check out that BP drip and get your Hitokiri axe close up. Very necessary. Although most of you have seen her axe close up, usually on the back end of a tier 4. So
it's been a while, right?
Yeah. And so the Ghost Rites Festival will be from September 14th to October 5th. And with that, there is a free event pass. So, Anastasia, do you want to talk to us about the art direction behind the event pass?
Yeah, sure. Battle Pass was inspired by Chinese culture, of course. So you'll see a lot of like lanterns that we already have on the map realization. Now you can take it with you everywhere you go and have your own personal festival. Yeah.
I love this effect.
It's so beautiful.
There's at least 3 heroes that this is going on for sure. And one of them starts with an N and ends with Obushi.
Why not all of them?
I mean, I didn't win the 100,000 steel, man. Some of us are the poor, unfortunate warriors. Sorry, you're saying, Anastasia.
Yeah, I was just trying to say that the weapon was also inspired by the theater, but each fraction has its own thematic theater.
I like the visual of Goki using the club to, like, crook someone off stage, but a little more violent. It's fine. He'll give him a hug in the wings.
Not sure it will work.
It'll be fine.
I think that's everything for the details, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us on the couch once again for all the juicy details. Juicy like a peach. Stick around for the next segment because we're going to be talking about a certain gameplay improvement, and we're showcasing all the Battle Pass weapons and Event Pass weapons before we get to that. So we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hey.
Welcome back, Warriors. We're so happy you're here with us today to talk about our next segment. And joining me here on the couch is our Lord and Savior, JC, once again. Welcome. I know you're here last session too, but you're still here, and we're so happy you are. That's amazing. And also the queen of all animation, Vanessa, is here on the couch. Thank you, Vanessa, for joining us today. So, listen, Warriors, we brought two heavy hitters today to talk about a little gameplay improvement that we wanted to share with you all. We've received some comments here and there on Reddit for a little while. There's a lot.
There's a lot of space, right?
There's a lot. Yep. Okay, that's a lot of comments, but I mean, here it is. We're finally able to say we're removing Reflex Guard. Gone. Get out of here. Finally. Sorry, we're very
Yeah.
We are very excited to announce this today, to bring this to you. So yeah,
I've been waiting for so long.
We apologize for all the deceit and the subterfuge, but we're so happy to just bring this to you. So we want to dive in and talk a little bit more about this. But if you're maybe newer to For Honor, we kind of want to explain what this is to you. So what is Reflex Guard? Essentially, on our assassin heroes, Reflex Guard essentially was like, if you have your guard in a direction, it slowly fades away and you go back to neutral. Whereas on a static guard, what you're seeing here is you just kind of hold your guard. Woo. And you don't have to worry about continuously refreshing that. So we know you've been asking for this for a while, and well, here it is. So yeah, starting next week with the launch of the season, no more Reflex Guard. So it's pretty big. So who does this affect to? So again, if you're newer with us, all of our assassins, the Peacekeeper, Orochi, Berserker, Gladiator, Nusha, Shinobi, Shaman, and Shaolin, the one hybrid with Reflex Guard as well. So that's 8 heroes. No more Reflex Guard. It's done. It's done. So again, but it's great. But this is such a big deal for us. It's such a big change. We wanted to kind of share with you a bit about the journey, maybe give you a little background on like where this came from, and then like how we came to be here today with this. So to do that, JC, do you want to explain a bit about the history of Reflex?
Yeah. So it's a long, complicated history, but essentially, just to start at the very, very beginning, right? I'm sure some of our viewers were there, and I think the very, very first close beta that we did, where Reflex Guard was essentially, if you blocked last second, well, if you actually blocked with those assassin heroes, it would always deflect. That was a bit too strong, so that changed. It evolved over time, and ended up switching into what we have today in game. That will change next week, which is your Decaying Guard. So that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of stuff that happens there. We had at some point we had some heroes that had different timings for the Reflex Guard as well. Like I remember Gladiator had like a shorter time for it. Some heroes were like a bit longer. So we've changed those over the years, but we wanted to keep it. And so the initial thought behind Reflex Guard was that because you have Deflex, because you have another really bonus that we really thought back in the day was going to be really, really strong, which is you kind of hide your guard, right? So if when we saw in the video there, on live right now even, right? If you pick Orochi, for example, you switch your guard to the right, and then when it's over, you get back to the middle. And so if you lock onto somebody and that person did not see you switch your guard, they don't know which side the attack is going to come from. So that was one part of, well, this is actually a really, really good bonus, because then your opponents can't really match your stance. If you're playing against Warden, for example, right now, you can, if you're locked onto them and they're locked onto you, you see what stance they're in all the time, so you can just match, and it makes blocking them a little bit easier. Now, as time went on, we found that that strength of Reflex Guard was not as effective as we wanted it to be. So that's one part of what's, so the bonus, the benefit of having Reflex Guard doesn't really fit here that much. The other benefit that we used to have, that we got rid of a couple of years ago, was that if you had an assassin and you wanted to do an attack in a different stance, your guard switch delay, so the time you would take before you switch your stance and attacked, was 100 milliseconds. And for other heroes, it was 300. So we switched this a while ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago or something like that, where it was standardized at 100 MS for everybody, because it kind of impacted the static guard heroes a bit too much. So those were the main benefits, but seeing as they're not real benefits, then what we're left with outside of Deflect, which is a good thing to have, is the bad things about reflex. And there's
drawback.
The drawback, right? And so the two main drawbacks are that first of all, you have to refresh your guard between every single hit. When you're in a group fight and a bunch of people are attacking you, there's indicators everywhere. It's really difficult to have to like block somebody and have to re-put it again.
It's
and
frustrating
again.
too because you kind of do it, but it.
Yeah, and then sometimes you're like, oh, I did it, but it happened
so
too
much
late
can
and
happen,
stuff. So that's a bit difficult there. And then the other thing that's a bit trickier is that when that guard expires right now, like when we saw in those videos, like the little like the guard indicator kind of fades away. When it expires, there's a short window there where you absolutely cannot block anything. And so this is problematic because then at high level players and even like sometimes at a little bit lower level, it would happen to you randomly as well, where you could time attacks to land in that specific window when you were good enough to recognize it, and then your opponent just literally could not block. They absolutely had to dodge and create other issues.
You're like vulnerable.
Yeah, you're vulnerable for a little bit, and so that was the problem there. So at the end of the day, we went, well, okay, we actually need to remove reflex guard, right? We had a lot of people in the community have been wanting to remove it. Clearly, we've seen it for a while. We've been wanting to remove it for a while as well. I think we started planning this like over 2 years ago.
Yep.
But as Vanessa can tell you, it was
a long journey.
It's not as simple as we would have liked.
That's right. There's no button that just says, hey, remove
I wish at
reflex
this
guard.
point I wish we had one, but no.
Yeah.
We had to.
Again, it's a long. It was a bit of a journey too.
Yeah.
So, do you want to explain a bit about like what the impact was for you and your team? And
basically, I mean, we had to redo everything. In terms of animation, it was a pretty huge task. Of course, gameplay-wise, like there's complexity to do this, but it resides in the animation because we had to reshot all the navigation for each heroes. They navigate in their neutral stance, that we call them. But now we had to add more, like all their static stance in navigation. The thing is, player knows those characters. They've been playing them forever.
Yeah.
So they know how Orochi behave when you walk and all of that. So we needed to keep that pace, that feels. It's a good thing that we still have the same actor, mocap actor. So they have it in them, But it was pretty difficult because we had to redo the whole thing while keeping it still the same and the feeling. We didn't want to change the behavior of the character. We didn't want to do that. So just doing that was such a huge task. And every time we were doing something, we hit a blocker all the time because our graphs are all connected, like in the campaign as well. And there's a lot of connectivity everywhere. And we changed stuff and we're like, oh no, it breaks something else. So it was, I mean, Nolan.
I know. I was there. For
That's the thing, right? When you're not a game developer, when you're not like even like doing software, right? Like sometimes it looks like, oh yeah, it's super easy. You just change this and it's fine.
I wish.
But then things have knock-on effects, and it's not even like sometimes it's completely unpredictable. You have no idea what else is going to break when you touch something. So it's a tricky thing to really balance.
Just the fact that we work in parallel with like what the player has in game right now, and we add more animation. I mean, it adds more on the weight on everything, so that causes memory issue. Yeah. All of that. It's all stuff that it's hard to foresee. Sometimes you have to be in it to be like, oh no. Oh no, what's going on?
Yeah, and then like you've been working, like your team has been working on this on the animation side for over a year.
More than that, because mocap, I think the mocap we shot it in March, not this year, but the year
March
before.
2024. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we thought about this before. Mocap with this.
And
so
of course the planning even started before that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We
so
have been working on it.
Yeah. Every time I saw those coming, I'm like, oh my god, it's coming! I swear. No, and it's and the thing is, we work on the navigation, yes, but we had to rework every animation, every recovery. So every time we do an attack, we go back. Like when we mocap them, you do an attack, you go back to your stance, hidden stance for the neutral stance for Orochi, for example. But now we had to go back to those attacks. We didn't have to re-mocap everything, but we had to rework with the mocap that we have for the navigation and go through the whole moveset, basically.
Yeah.
And at first we're like, oh, maybe we're not going to see them too much, but we had to reopen old animation.
The more we play tested them internally, the more we're like, okay, there's a glitch. That looks odd. That looks odd. Yeah, so we would it was super visible. So
exactly. Yeah, because the difference is there. So so it was pretty, just even like opening an old animation made like, I don't know, 10 years ago, whatever. Like it's so, sometimes it just doesn't work. You cannot just it's gone, and you're like, oh no, what do we do? So we had to figure it out, but we made it happen. It's done. I've been practicing the speech for over a year.
It's very
I'm so excited. I can cry. I'm very happy that the player can. You can wait a week.
Yeah, it's one more week.
Been waiting for a year. You can wait a week.
Yeah, you got
to
it.
play,
And I know like a lot of players were like, because I've been seeing on Reddit, I'm on Reddit too much apparently, but a lot of it where people are like, well, why don't you just set, the stance there like you did when you were in this for like a super long time, like a minute or something, right? But every single situation that we come up with, like, can we keep reflex guard as is and then tweak things, broke other things. And we're like, well, okay, but it doesn't. Like, let's say you keep it for a long time, it doesn't fix the issue of your guard disappearing.
Yeah.
And if you keep it for a super long time and your guard doesn't disappear when you block, then you might as well have a static guard, right? So it's all those little things that we looked at them, we really tried to go, can we keep this and just tweak it so that it's a bit easier on everybody? And at the end, the end result was always, well, we might as well not have reflex guard. So
we just had to redo it.
Yeah, that's it, right? It's better to redo it and make sure that we're good. Yes, it standardizes things a little bit, but it ends up being way better.
It's for the
it's for the best, and it's a big buff to all the assassins, right? And we already know like characters like heroes like Berserker, for example, is already super strong. Might be a bit too strong now.
It's gonna change
maybe a little
everything.
strong.
Right? It's gonna change a lot of stuff. I know like some characters that are like not played as much because they're assassins, because they're a bit more frustrating to play.
We're gonna see so many Nusha now.
Yeah, we're gonna see them everywhere.
Best girl, Nisha.
Right? So there's a lot of stuff.
So
like,
happy.
of course, we're keeping an eye on balancing,
Yes.
making sure that things are okay there. But I'm really excited. Like, we've been playing with it internally for a little bit now. Feels so much better. Makes all those assassins way better. And
and keep an eye, like you just said, like I know on some emote we still have some. You might, if you do a combat emote, you might still see some residue of those animations. We're working on it. It's gonna be gone pretty soon, but we wanted the community to have it. We're just can it goes. So it was.
So if you see bugs or anything,
tell us. But we're all gonna clean that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want them gone for real.
Not for real. Yeah, it's absolutely a monumental change. It's absolutely huge. And obviously, there were a lot of people who worked on this over the past year or 2 years.
Yeah.
On this specifically, do we want to give
so
team
for us,
shout-outs
at least
for
like,
that?
on my side on the fight team, it's everyone on the wheel that's been on the fight team for like the past 2 years. Everybody's touched it. Everybody's like worked on it a little bit, removing it, doing the data so that things are okay. But also, what was tricky for us, and what I think I have to give really big kudos to our team, is that while this was going on, the way under the hood that it was in, whenever changes were being done, we had to do them like twice, 3 times, to like other things to make sure things would be carried over. And so that was a monumental task for everybody on the fight team.
It added on every other thing that we're doing.
So like every time we're doing a new hero, we're doing like reworks, whatever, it makes things a lot more complicated. It was a lot more work for us. But I'm super happy we're done, and I'm really thankful for the animation team, for Vanessa's team. They did an amazing job as well.
The team did amazing. I mean, everyone at some point throughout those years to work on it. And don't forget, like, we still had to ship all the content that we shipped like in the past years.
And other heroes, and other reworks.
All of that was happening at the same time that we were doing that. So it's quite a lot. It added a lot. So big shout out to all the team, and also just for Kadem as well, one of our animators that worked 6 months straight on this feature only. We usually like rotate stuff, just you can work on everything, but specifically Kadem, thank you for this. It's a big one. I hope the community likes it. I mean, I'm so happy it's out now. So happy that we can talk about it. It's there. But even the tool team, everybody else. I mean, all the blocker that we got. And
Like the entire For Honor team was involved in this in some shape or form. That's it. Like for tools, for code, for like everything, right? So because it impacted so much more than just we're just removing it in the data and we're doing animation.
If we add the button to remove the reflex guard, we're gonna use it if we have it, but we don't have it. So no, we had to redo everything. So
awesome. Well, that's amazing. Well, thank you both very much. And community, again, one more week. You got one more week, so enjoy Reflex Guard for this next week, because September 14th, it's gone.
It's completely gone.
It's gone forever. No more posts about it, please. No,
No, we won't post about
okay, just put feedback.
the fact that
It's
you
good,
like
but
that.
Yeah,
there's no
that you're happy that
feedback.
it's not there
Yeah,
anymore.
can't ask us to
exactly.
remove it anymore because it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gonna be gone. It's gonna be amazing. Thank you very much, JC. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Warriors, stick around because this isn't the only gameplay update we have for you. We have some patch notes we're gonna talk about coming up next with JC. So stick around, and we'll see you in a second. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Welcome back once again, Warriors. Thanks for sticking around there as we did a little shift in the background here. But yeah, we're here to talk about some patch notes with JC. But before that, just real quick, because we were just checking a few of the comments in between the transition of the segments here. And JC, you had one more thing you wanted to mention about?
So I just want to address some weird urban legend that I've been reading about and hearing about for a while, and I should have mentioned it before. So apparently, a lot of players were thinking that we couldn't remove reflex guard because of deflect, and that they were linked together in some sort of spaghetti code type of thing. That was completely false. I have no idea where people got that information from.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, it's they had nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
We still have deflects. There's no problems, and it's completely unrelated. So that's.
So there you go.
Really different systems.
Yeah, they're not connected at all.
Yeah.
I don't know where y'all got that.
No
Okay,
idea.
they're completely separate. So deflects are here to stay.
Yep,
So
yeah,
there
exactly.
we go.
I'm really happy about that.
All right, well, cool. But beyond that too, we have again, if y'all thought that this was a pretty big update, we have even more for you, and something I think that's been cooking a little bit too. The past couple updates here. So, JC, let's dive in. What do you got for the community?
Let's go. So first off, I'm gonna go into the patch notes as we go along, but I want to just get started. So. First things first, we're going Lawbringer reintegration now, so that's great.
Woo!
And then I want to talk super quickly about the Bash testing grounds that we've done. So as I mentioned last time, it's not coming in this TU. It'll come out probably next one. But I just want to make sure we wanted to take our time to make sure we were getting it right, test it out a bunch of different interactions, making sure we're good to go. So don't expect it now, but Lawbringers now. Right.
Awesome. Lawbringer.
And then also for Lawbringer, just to give a bit of not really history, but an indication of where we're going with it, is that we did 2 testing grounds, right? The first one was kind of there was things that people liked, things people didn't like. Second one, same thing. So the approach we took specifically for Lawbringer was gather what worked, and then what didn't work, we just discarded it, right?
Yeah.
So because a lot of the time, we're thinking, yeah, okay, this is good. It feels good when we're playing it, and then it gets into the hands of players, and it's really not what they're expecting. It's not what they are enjoying. So we don't have a problem. When there's things that don't really work, we don't mind cutting them, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, we want to make sure that the character is still in a healthy spot. So there's some things that are more about the health of the hero and the feeling of playing against them. But we'll go through the changes and we'll go through it. So for Lawbringer, what I'm going to be doing is just going through the main points of what has changed. You can go look at the patch notes for all the details, for every little nugget of detail that should be in there. They're really, really complete, but that's great.
They're pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty big, but we really wanted to make sure that we cut them down to size 0 so that we don't take 8 hours making those patch notes here.
Fair enough.
So first up, the first thing that we need to mention is that Impaling Riposte, so this is the side heavy after a parry, is only guaranteed on light parries. That's something we had in the second testing ground. We've done different iterations of this in the first one where you still had it anytime, and then when you reach the wall, you get a special punish or whatever. It didn't really pan out, made things way too complicated, like really messed up stuff. So instead, the best way to handle this was what we did in the second testing grounds, which is it's only off of light parries. You get it off of dodge attack parries, you get it off of other things. But at the end of the day, the damage output of a Lawbringer when you parried a heavy was way too high. It's much too dangerous. You can ledge, you can put into traps, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's still useful. And after a heavy parry, it's not after a light parry rather. The idea now is we want players to have a choice and to make a decision and to really be smart about which option they're going to take. Are they going to do Blind Justice? Are they going to do Impaling Riposte? One of them does a little bit less damage, but it has more potential, like of instant kills or whatever. Maybe you want to push somebody out of a group fight if you want. So it's a lot of it is about rewarding smart play and good decision making in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of went this way and make sure that when you're playing Lawbringer, you're feeling good about the choices that you're making. And yeah, you can make a mistake sometimes, and it's okay. It's fine. You're going to get to learn. That's great.
That happens.
Then we also kept that the heavy opener is now chained to Swift Justice on hit if it's performed in the same stance. So right now, Lawbringer can go into, if you land a heavy attack, you can tap light in the same stance, and you will do a really, really quick tap. That tap leads to your finishers. It counts as your second hit, which is the next point in there. So it's great. It really lets Lawbringer get into his finishers, which is arguably one of the best parts of the kit. He has some of the best heavy finishers in the entire game. Really big, unblockable, white sweeping, the whole thing. That's super good. They hit a lot of people. They're threatening. That's great. But being forced to do a heavy, then potentially go into a light or a shove and do all those mix-ups when we want to reward, like you managed to land a heavy, you managed to land a guard break that went to your heavy. Getting all that stuff to go, like we really want you to go into your finishers and use them as much as possible.
Okay.
So that's the idea here. If you switch your stance, you will still go into a normal light. So like that's okay.
Yeah.
That works. So that's all good.
Okay.
We've also kept that the chain heavy attacks now have uninterruptible stance. That's armor for people who, like me, don't like to say uninterruptible stance. So you get they have armor at 100 ms, right? So that's only for chain heavies, not for finishers. The finishers are unblockable already. They don't really need that armor. We had that in the first testing ground.
Yeah,
It didn't really pan out, which is okay. But having that armor there really lets Lawbringer be effective in group fights, right? The idea here is those are still big swings with armor there. Lets you kind of target swap between opponents, can let you like a bunch of stuff and be a lot safe against peeling. So that really, really helps Lawbringer's offense in that regard to be able to get around and do stuff. So that's great. And then also the top heavy finisher and now soft feints the guard break. It's a little bit faster. We have a slide a little bit later that like talks about speeds, but essentially to make sure that your top heavy finisher can catch people that are rolling when you do it after a light, we gave it a soft feint the guard break to make sure that you can catch people that are rolling.
Nice.
And make yourself a little bit more useful in those fights and just I roll away from Lawbringer every time he does something, right? So that's the big part here.
All right.
As well, we have Long Arm. So Long Arm now guarantees a safe heavy opener with also a safe Swift Justice. So on live right now, with Lawbringer, you do Long Arm, you flip them over, you throw a heavy. If you do not do anything afterwards, if you don't throw a light, if you don't risk a light, if you don't risk a heavy, if you don't risk a shove or whatever, your opponent gets a free guard break on you every single time. This is not the case right now. We fixed this. It was fixed in the testing grounds. It works well. This is great. It really helps make Long Arm a lot safer of a tool. So it works really good. So that's great for that. Blind Justice, which is the top heavy after a parry. It now initiates chains, and it also chains to Swift Justice. So essentially, you can do Blind Justice into target swap shove, for example, if you like. Or if you're on a single target, you can do Blind Justice into Swift Justice into your finishers. So really, we want to have Lawbringer keep his identity as a parry specialist and have a lot of options out of parries and be able to keep the pressure after parries. That's very, very important to us. And so by giving those things a little bit like more utility, a little bit more stuff there, it feels great. And it lets the hero actually really go into pressure. Because one of the big problems that Lawbringer had was yeah, you're really good defensively, but offensively, you're not that good. It's kind of hard to get to where you want to be. So with these kind of changes, though, those slow changes really helps get into where you want to go. So that's great.
Okay, nice.
Next, we have Zone Attack and Make Way. So they now cost 20 stamina instead of 60, which was like a crazy number. They now also initiate chains, which is great. You can do like a Zone Attack into a chain, whatever you want to do. And they also have 600 MS of recovery, right? They used to be way smaller. You could do stuff like zone into a full block and then parry the full block follow-up. This is not something that was intended. It's not something that we want to really reward there. If you're hitting a full block, you should be punished for hitting the full block.
Right.
So we slowed down the recovery a little bit to make sure that those follow-ups would actually be able to connect properly.
Okay.
We've also removed all stun, all stamina damage, and all stamina pause on the hero. So no more stunning off of your top heavies, no more stunning or stamina damage or whatever off of anything. That's completely gone. Stun doesn't really bring much to the game, like flashbangs don't really quite work with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And stamina damage and stamina pause, we're removing them over time on pretty much every single hero. The logic here is we want like stamina management still has to be a part of the game, right? You still have your stamina bar, you still have to do stuff, but we don't want it to be impacted too much by what your opponent does. It's how you manage it yourself,
Right.
and not how your opponent manages to drain your stamina bar.
Yeah.
It also has like big knock-on effects into when you're out of stamina and stuff that we don't really want to get into. So with this, it makes the hero a lot healthier to play against.
Awesome.
And we've also adjusted the recovery timings for most attacks. I won't go into the numbers, go look at the patch notes, but the gist of it is the vast majority of heavies at least have like shorter recoveries. Like some of them were like over a second long. They're all like about 800 now. So that's
Nice.
great. So yeah, so overall, like we've kind of standardized this a little bit to make the heroes safer as well in group fights. If you don't want to throw a follow-up, you don't have to, and everything's good there.
Nice. All right.
So super quickly, if you want to screenshot this, because a bunch of stuff there, so you can screenshot it. The most important part of this here that I want to mention is the part at the bottom, which is any change not listed in the patch notes has not carried over from the testing grounds.
Right.
What this means, very, very, very shortly, is enhanced lights are still in. Shove-in chains is still 500 MS. All those little things that we've done that players did, like the 3-hit light chain, for example, we've also we did not carry it over. Players did not really like it. We heard you. We see it. Fine. We're not putting it in.
Yep.
But again, it's testing grounds. We're testing things. It's okay to dislike stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally. Nobody takes it personally. Except maybe sometimes I can't sleep at night, but it's fine.
What are you doing to this guy?
Yeah, what are you doing? Right?
What are you doing?
But yeah, but it's fine. Like honestly, it's okay. We're testing stuff out. It's good. And sometimes when things are not appreciated, we can remove them, and it's fine.
Sure.
All right. So next up, let's go to Pirate. So we're doing some buffs to Pirate. Pirate's been underperforming. When she released, she was a bit strong, a little bit strong, right? And so we acted very quickly, and we kind of over-nerfed the hero to really like help the feeling of this feels really bad fighting against her, right?
Yeah.
But as we've done that, we've realized more and more and more that her power level is way too low. Like I've been seeing a lot of tier lists that just put her in a remove tier list, right? For duels especially, which is kind of sad. But I mean, I get it, right? If the hero is not effective and if everything's reactable and you can't really do anything, like when you're playing as Pirate in specific game modes, then it's not good. So we're doing these changes here to Pirate specifically. We're keeping an eye on the situation. If this is not enough, we will keep doing more changes to the hero to bring them more in line to where they need to go. So first up, heavy finishers. They now deal 24 damage, up from 22. So again, like bringing up the damage line a little bit higher, so you're more encouraged to do them and get into the move there. The guaranteed pistol blast and the non-guaranteed pistol blast now recover like at different timings here. The gist of it is that whenever you perform them, if you don't chain afterwards, you become frame neutral with your opponent instead of being frame disadvantaged. So it lets you not necessarily keep the pressure going, but at least you're not disadvantaged if you don't choose to continue them because you're out of stamina or you don't want to do it for whatever reason. So that's kind of like the idea here. Cavalier Dance, which is her front dodge heavy. Right now, it's according to a lot of players, it's fully reactable, right? They're able to react to the fact that you're fainting it or not. So we sped it up to 700 MS. It used to be 8. It's now 700. And the uninterruptible stance starts at 433 instead of 5. Here we're hoping that by speeding it up, it'll make it a little bit less reactable. Animations kind of follow there. So hopefully they're going to be less readable, a little bit less readable in the fact of did Pirate faint or not. So we're going to see where that lands. and like hopefully it'll be like in a good spot where you can actually use it as an opener and we'll be good to go. Otherwise, like I said, we might look at other venues to see what we do to change the heroes. And then finally, Grand Cavalier, which is her side dodge heavies. We had put them at 600 MS. They're pretty good. They have really big trajectories. They hit a lot of stuff. But at 600, especially with the dodge changes, it felt bad, right? They were getting parried all the time. Making them at 533, again, we're putting them back down to the value they were when they released. Should help them be a little bit faster, a little bit less reactable, and have them be actually just better in general.
Yep. Okay.
That's it for Pirate. Next up, we have Medjai. If I can, yeah, there we go. So for Medjai, the hero's actually been overperforming. If you look at a lot of tier lists, especially in Dominion, way high up, and is the source of.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, right. So there's a good reason for that, right? And the problem is that like staff mode is very, very, very strong, and also has was kind of played with some bugs with the trajectories, dealt a lot of damage, like a massive amount of damage, and like because the weapon trajectory didn't really line up with the actual weapon visuals, it made it feel kind of bad because then you were like, well, why am I getting hit when a weapon is not hitting me, right? Yeah. So we're trying to address all of these issues at once here for Medjai. So first is all staff mode chain heavy attacks now deal 28 instead of 30 on sides and 32 on top. Already that's like that's a 2 damage nerf or 4 damage nerf for top. So like again, this dealt a ton of damage against external opponents that couldn't really do anything. They're fully armored. It's kind of nuts. That's one thing there. The staff will finish your heavies also now deal 30 instead of 32 on sides and 34 on top. Again, same logic, right? Damage curve was going a bit too high. Tagging people with 32 damage heavies when they can't really do anything and they don't really see them, that doesn't really work well. And we've also adjusted the attack trajectories to better match weapon visuals, sorry, for the following attacks. So all staff mode lights and heavy attacks and staff mode zone attacks. So now you should find that when the weapon hits you externally, it should match way better with the actual visuals of it. And we've also adjusted them. So like in some cases, there's a little bit less reach. Sometimes a little bit more, depending. Like in front, we had to like increase it. Yeah. On the sides, lower it a little bit. So they're still good. They still have a large reach. They still have all that sort of stuff. But at least now, if the weapon hits you, that's when you're going to take damage. And it's a lot easier to go, well, the weapon's coming at me, so I can dodge out of the way or deal with it in a better way than just hitting you out of the blue and doing phantom hits there, which didn't really feel good.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it for Medjai. Next up, we have Orochi. So Orochi's centered around a single thing, which is Storm Rush. Now you might be going, Storm Rush is not that good.
It's not that good.
However, if you look at a lot of, I've seen a lot of ganking videos and stuff, and Storm Rush was problematic because it ignored a lot of the rules that we have for pinning. And so that's really, really complicated. But basically, you could pin opponents that could not be pinned. You could do you can chain multiple Storm Rushes back to back to back. So that created a lot of issues. And a lot of the 100-0 ganks with a lot of heroes in the cast were just, well, Orochi's there so you can get them going, right?
Gotcha.
So this really needed to be addressed so that the character is in line with everybody else in the cast, where they don't fully ignore those spinning rules. So the change that we've done was Storm Rush no longer pins opponents that are in states where they can't normally be pinned. So, for example, those are generally, if an opponent is currently being pinned, Storm Rush could repin them. Right now, that can't happen. The hit reactions also no longer allow the opponents to be pinned from other players. So another part of this was if you pin somebody with Storm Rush, another pin could repin in that situation. That was also problematic. So we've removed that. And you can no longer chain to the guaranteed double top and side lights after a Storm Rush. And that is because even if we remove the other two things, right, the pinning rules are okay. If you do Storm Rush into a light, the hit reaction that came from that light is in a state that is pinnable. And so because of this, even if we fix the other two, you could still repin from the reaction from that little light afterwards.
Gotcha.
So that had to go. To compensate for that going for now, we've also increased the damage from Storm Rush from 16 to 20. Basically, it's that 4 damage that those little combo lights you can do. Sure. So you're still going to deal the same damage with Storm Rush. It's just that you can't have that kind of repin infinitely going there. So that's it for Orochi for this.
Seems fair.
Yeah, it seems really fair. And then finally, Hitokiri, one line, but significant line. When we did change to Hitokiri last time, the hero, we kind of skipped over the zone attack stamina cost. So we're putting that back in line. So instead of costing 60, now cost 20. Better stamina management for Hitokiri, not out of breath as often, which is great. And
got a very raspy voice. Right,
right.
So
there's all that stuff. So at least now you can throw zone attacks and not lose half of your stamina, which is
that's always a plus.
Pretty good, right? It's always a plus.
All right.
So that's pretty much it for balancing and patch notes for this.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of stuff.
That's quite a hefty thing, and all that again accompanying the reflex guard removal.
Yeah.
Like it's great to see the Lawbringer coming back in too after like all that testing grounds. Which, by the way, again, thank you all for that feedback. You know, legitimately, I mean, as JC said, you know, we ran too, but we really do value the feedback you give us on that stuff. It helps to you know really see what's working with the community, what's not. So it's good. So big thanks to that.
Yeah, thanks. And like honestly, like even if it's not always the most constructive,
sure.
The more constructive you are, the better it is. If you have ideas to make things better or whatever, great. You can tell us. We're always looking at everything, and it's great. I'm always happy to see people commenting. It means people are engaged. It means people love the game, and they want good things to come out of it. So that's always good. So that's always amazing for me. So that's great.
Cool. Well, and I think we have another excellent point of engagement coming up after this segment. So stick around, everybody here, because JC's not going anywhere. He's here all day.
It's my show today.
It's the JC show today. Yep. But he's going to be here to talk about testing grounds coming up next with somebody I think you're all going to be pretty excited to hear about. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And we're back to talk about the testing grounds. I am joined once again by Mr. JC Frenette. And for the first time on the Warriors Den, William the Conqueror. Welcome to the Den, William.
Sorry?
I just said welcome to the Den.
Sorry. Oh, thank you.
I did not enunciate. The Idaho came out, and it was just like, oh, no, man.
Yeah. Thank you to having me.
Everyone in Idaho sounds like Boomhauer.
That's the thing. Yeah, that works. That's how it works. That's good.
Yeah. So, we're talking about testing grounds, and let's just kick it off, JC.
Yeah, well, first, I want to welcome William to the Den. First time we see him around. Joined the team not that long ago, like 3 months ago.
Yeah, like 3 months ago.
You've been playing forever, right? Since you've been playing For Honor since the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much since the launch, and now being on the other part of the screen as a dev, that's a pretty good feeling, you know?
Fresh out of school.
Yeah,
solid.
the note on our cheat sheet says just after finishing school, but I wasn't sure, is that after finishing school or after finishing school?
I don't think he went to finish school.
Never.
So
No, but let's get into testing grounds details. So what can players expect from the TG? Because we've got the man who never skips a leg day, right?
Mr. Thighs.
Yeah.
Highlander, right? So I'm super happy. We've been wanting to do a Highlander for a while. I know the community has been wanting to, like, for us to have Highlander and the testing grounds and as a rework. So we've taken an approach here with Highlander, which is essentially we want to have the hero to just make the hero better in general. It's a really difficult to play hero. He's like kind of tricky. There's a lot of like weird things that can happen. So we focused on not really removing much. Actually, I think there's one thing that's been removed. Everything else is if you played Highlander before, you can play Highlander now, except you have better tools. So that's great.
Nice.
That's what I like to see in a rework as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what players said when discussing Highlander as a potential. They're just like, I hope they don't change him too much.
Yeah, right. So he hasn't changed too much. Actually, he changed for the better. So that's great.
Some TLC.
Yeah, a lot of TLC. Yeah. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so first up, the very, very biggest change we've done, and I think people should be psyched about this, is that whenever you feint an attack now, every single time you feint an attack, if you hold the heavy button, you will fast flow into offensive stance, right? So how does this work? I throw a heavy, feint, hold heavy, straight into offensive stance, right? So this is great because normally the only way you could really on live right now, like go into offensive stance, realistically, is either like you got lucky, the dodge attack, you hold it or whatever, or you backstep light into offensive stance. Those are the two ways that kind of made it safe. But now with this, you're showing an indicator. So because you're showing an indicator, your opponent doesn't really know what you're going to do. It makes it a lot easier to go into offensive stance. So that's a really, really, really big change here. It works off of every single feint that you can perform with Highlander.
Every feint.
Every single feint.
You can just whoop.
Yeah, we've added a couple of feints here and there.
Oh.
Nice. Right? So we'll talk about this as
There
well.
are more feints.
There's more feints. The next thing I want to talk about quickly, which is a problem with the hero right now, is backstep lights. Right now, on live, if you do this, you backstep quite a bit. You can kind of option select a lot of attacks. We don't like that. It's not a good thing. So what we've done is that the version, like when you backstep a little bit less. So it kind of removes that option. Like, right, if you're really close, right, and I'm backstepping, I still hit my opponent. So you can't just go and try to option select stuff out of it. And just smash out of it and get out of range for stuff. And so
it's like one of the few OSs to survive the purge.
That's it, right? So that's a problem with like whenever we have like we have superior blocks on attacks and we can backstep them, it kind of creates problems there. The other thing we've done is a crushing counter version. So if you want to throw me a top heavy, it now deals 18 damage instead of 20. So again, we've lowered the damage curve a little bit here. Because again, that was a bit too strong, so that kind of works there. The other thing we've done in defensive stance is, in defensive form rather, is the chain lights no longer have uninterruptible stance. This is a health issue, right? Players could just mash this, have armor quite often
for days.
Yeah, and it was like it's a bit too strong. So removing it there makes a lot of sense. You still have it off of your everything, right? So, and off your heavy openers. So you can still trade and do stuff with Highlander. It's just not off of the flight.
There's still a lot of flashing.
Yeah. There's still a lot of flashing.
Yeah.
Right?
Flashes.
The other thing that we've done that's kind of cool is we've also adjusted the speed of Highlander's heavy openers. So top heavy opener right now. See, so if you're on live right now and you land a guard break, realistically, all you can do is zone attack to hit people.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore, my friend. You can do a top heavy, and it lands because it's now 800 MS, right? If I do like a side, for example, it's blockable because they're now 9. But what happens when they're 9 is Will can do a dodge attack here. And I get a free heavy off of a side heavy now that are 900.
Get shreked.
Beforehand, all you could do after a light parry is hold heavy, release it. Timing was rough. Like the input comfort was not super there. You can still do it if you want. But we really wanted to give the hero like a much better way of getting into those parry punishes and not be super penalized about all of these things. That works really, really great. We've also adjusted damage in consequence. So top is 24, sides are 27, like expected for those speeds. So that works out really, really well. Next, we have zone attack from offensive form. So first up, first hit is feintable. You couldn't feint it before, now you can.
Oh, dip.
It's great, right?
That's huge.
Because now you can also, you want to know what I'm talking about? Fainting, feint into offensive.
Oh,
Do it a bit quicker there, but yeah.
I see what you did there.
That works there. The first hit also now gains uninterruptible stance at 500 MS. So that's great. So you get armor really, really quickly. And then the second and third hit also gain uninterruptible stance at 100 MS. So you get armor here, armor here, armor here. You want to throw it at minions when a bunch of people are around you, go ahead. You're not going to get peeled. So that's great. But we're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, you know, but how can we make this even better? Right? What do you think we could do?
I mean, was it faster?
It's not necessarily faster, but you can now chain to heavy finishes.
Oh, dip.
That also
Yeah, I
armor,
was way off.
right?
I was
you were way
I was
off.
distracted by the flash.
Yeah, but that's okay. Because now the other cool thing is that the heavy finishers also chain into zone attack. So if you want to be a cool spinner, you can now go zone, to heavy, to zone.
All right, so
Heavy.
the age of man is over. The age of the thigh copter is here.
Exactly, right? But part of this is we really want to have Highlander in this form to be really, really defensive, but be able to defend himself in group fights, be amazing in the minion lane because you can just spin through the
Yeah. No, Scotsman goes.
Exactly. So that's really, really good there. And the last change that we're adding is the top, like the front dodge heavy, the top version of it can now be feinted, which it couldn't before. So now you can probably feint, hold heavy, straight into offensive stance as well, which is really, really good there. Again, a lot of those little changes, a lot of it kind of feels almost like quality of life, but it really, really helps Highlander in those cases. Now we have offensive form, right? So the main issue with offensive form is kick. Because kick right now is not necessarily like, it's not fast, it's not super slow either, but it kind of works. The problem is that it's reactable, and then if I'm playing against, say, a Highlander here, right, and I'm going to do kick into keyboard toss, kind of works. The idea is that the way that mix-up was intended was I'm going to do kick into keyboard toss and catch dodge attacks. Or catch people dodging, actually. But because everybody has dodge attacks right now, like, if you can try to dodge attack it when I do it,
you just
clearly, it's not going to work, right? So how do we fix this? Well, kick is now... I'm going to go back to defensive stance, I'm sorry. Kick is now feintable. Uh-oh. Not only is it feintable, but if you're holding... Because you're currently holding heavy, right? So holding heavy, you stay in offensive stance. Which is great, because I can also throw my offensive heavies, feint them, stay in offensive stance.
I cannot wait to go back and read chat.
This is like amazing there. The other thing that we've also done is all of his side dodge, all of his dodge attacks actually in offensive stance are now keyboard toss, which is also a little bit faster. If you play with Highlander before, you grab them. Usually, like, it used to take a bit more time. You would grab them, throw them. It would take a bit longer. You still get your unblockable heavy off of it, like usual. But you have it off of this, right? So now it's crazy because when you're in offensive stance, you get even more crazy potential damage with a lot of your allies by throwing somebody to the floor. So that's good. The other thing that's interesting here is that if Will kind of rolls away from my feintable kick, do it, kick and just roll away from it, I can front dodge and grab it, right? So there is now no escaping the kick, which is the thighs, right?
Yeah.
But that works really, really well there. It's amazing. Honestly, it's a super good tool. But at the same time, if you want to, like I said before, right? You want to soft feint into keyboard toss? You can. We didn't remove it. You want to go straight to keyboard toss from neutral? You can. We didn't remove it, right? So all of these things are still in. They're not necessarily the most optimal things, but we wanted to make sure that if you played Highlander before, you can still play Highlander. You just have new things that work better.
Okay, so you don't have to, like, get the 500-pound brain and relearn the
Exactly, right? That's great.
Yeah.
Also, like for the heavies in offensive stance, we've lowered their damage and their stamina cost. So now they deal 26, usually deal 30. 30 off a dodge attack was always a bit crazy, but yeah. 12 stamina instead of 24. So you can actually now stay in offensive stance quite a bit longer. I have a lot more stuff there, so that's really, really, really Good.
50% off all stamina
Yeah.
costs. Only in
No, that's
Heath
what it is,
more.
right? There's some changes we've done to like dodges. I'm not gonna go too much into it. We have a blog post that kind of details all of those things. Essentially, like you can flow back into the offensive stance a little bit quicker from when you're doing, and you also move a little bit further out when you're dodging from when you're on live. So that's good.
He overall just looks a lot more fluid.
Yeah,
like with these little tweaks.
Yeah, it feels really, really good. And then just the last thing that I want to go into. So we've removed every single instance of stamina damage and stamina pause, like what we've done with stuff. Again, like it doesn't really fit anything here. Like I said before, when we have Lawbringer, it's the same kind of logic there. You can also no longer. So right now, if you're on live, right, if you're in offensive form and you hold guard break, you can just do kick.
Oh right,
kick,
it'll just
infinite, right?
chain.
So now we've kind of fixed this, so you have to tap it, and then if you're just holding it, it's not just gonna happen infinitely, right?
Nice, so you're not gonna
Is
get
that
caught on the startup of the next one.
Exactly, and so this might look a bit weird, like why did we remove this? It's just because it can create like bad inputs. So there's no point in having those bad inputs. So if we can clean them up, that's great. It works really well there. Also, the other thing is that like exiting offensive stance used the cost of stamina. Now it costs 6. So again, better stamina management for Highlander. Great overall. And then the final piece of this cute little puzzle is Highlander had the worst walking and running speed in the entire game, even though, you know, he's like a big beefy guy with like big thighs. So right now, we've actually sped it up to be equal to the second slowest thing, which I think is Kensei. So he runs at about the same speed as Kensei, actually. So with this, you can actually rotate to your rotation a lot better, reach points in a much more natural way.
Because before Highlander was not great for rotation.
Right, and you had to pick rush every single time, otherwise you couldn't really get to where you wanted to go. So we really like sped that up, make sure that at least like that's a bit more playable. You can get to where you want to go, and that works.
Hey, and his dedication to leg day, it finally paid off.
Exactly, right. So that's great. So that's it for Highlander. Like it's a lot of changes. Sometimes it doesn't look like too much, right? But we've really put a lot of care into making sure that, like I said, if you've played him before, you can still play Highlander. You're just buffed up now. You can do a lot more, and you have easier access to the tools you want to have. You can weave in and out of defensive and offensive form a lot more effectively. That works super well. We're really excited that we hope like players are gonna like it. We're super happy about it, so that should be good.
Yeah.
And
no, I mean, all the tentative changes seem like they're kind of in line with what players were asking, which was like we want some tweaks, but we don't want to. We don't want to change the identity of the hero, or like the feel of playing him. So I'm excited to get hands on Highlander because like he always felt like chunky.
Yeah.
Like swapping out cardboard cutouts.
Constantly.
You know.
So with this, it's a lot more fluid.
Yeah, now it's just, and those are kind of more the heroes that I like to play. It's just like let me get in there and flow.
Yeah. That's good. Well, I think that's it for the testing grounds.
That's it?
Thanks, William, for being
a punching bag.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Punching bag on the stream and off.
Yeah.
No, just
not off. Not off.
Not off.
Please
not
not
that.
No. Thank you both so much for joining me on the stream. And for those of you home, we'll be right back with Nolan to recap everything, and we've got some community corner videos.
Finally getting rid of me.
Yeah. You can go like bask in the glory of chat's adoration.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
I love that.
But stick around. We'll be right back after this transition. Welcome back, everybody. We hope you have had an excellent time on the Warriors Den. I know I have.
I have
you too?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, what a great day.
It is a great day. Thursdays, when there's a Warriors Den, you know it's going to be a good day.
Mm-hmm.
It's all. It's
what
always
else is going to be a good day? Next Thursday, too.
Next Thursday, yes. Yes. Especially for Les Assassins. So let's do a quick recap of everything you can expect coming up in Year 7, Season 3. Title update 1. Nolan, would you like to give us a recap?
Absolutely, sir. All right, so amazing show again. So September 14th, next Thursday, we are gonna kick off the new season with a new battle pass and a new battle bundle. Keep a lookout for that. There's some amazing stuff in there you already got to see. The Ghost Rites event pass is going to be running from September 14th through October 5th, so that's really cool. Testing Grounds is coming there that first week, September 14th through the 21st with Highlander, so you just saw those amazing changes. There was the other little thing. Oh, yeah, Reflex Guard removal. It's gone. Say goodbye to that. So that's coming next week as well. We also have a throwback event, Visions of the Kyoshin, running from October 12th through the 19th.
Gorgeous
event. So
Gorgeous.
I love that event.
So the really Spirit Realm, it gets me every time.
I know. Yeah, it's such a great event. We also have some Hero Fest planned for the season 2, just as a reminder. So keep an eye out for. No, we could say these ones. Yeah. Kensei, Shigoki, and Warden. I'm like, oh no.
I'm looking forward to that last one.
I think you have a little stake in that one too.
I'm gonna make everyone suffer through some explanations on that one.
I know. I think it's great too. I think some people were caught it in the opening trailer too, so it's pretty good. So that's amazing stuff. So there you go. A lot of content, a lot of amazing stuff coming out starting next week. But that's not all we have to talk about though in our wrap up.
It is not.
Right? What else?
It is not. As is the returning tradition.
I love it. Yep.
We have combed all of your video submissions, and it's time for Community Corner. So let's take a look at some funny videos that Nolan hasn't seen.
I have not. I asked not to see these because I love them so much. I like to be surprised.
He likes the surprise. Live.
All right. What do we got?
Yeah, so this is big YouTube reaction.
It is. It's Gotta start a new show after this too.
Yeah. All right, so first up we've got There's Always a Bigger Fish, which is brought to us by the name on the screen.
It's pretty good. Shigoki's a pretty big fish. Oh, no!
Get him!
Oh, that was amazing.
Then we have this excellent artwork by Menace Side.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's making some of my dreams come true right here. This is another thing I'll talk to GC about later.
And then you cannot avoid the hole. I'm sorry, BT.
Oh, he avoided it, though. What are you talking about? You can't.
You can't avoid the hole.
Oh, he just did.
No, it's the rules.
He just did again. I feel like Raider really wants to get this. Oh, he's gonna. Oh, see, there you go. Where are we at?
I mean, the video.
It's got to pay off at the end. No, pay it off.
You cannot avoid the hole.
Oh my gosh.
And then we have Nuh-uh, brought to you by Parasur Owo.
What's it called? Taught us how to live. No. It's got a body pillow.
Yes. For the weeps. And then we got What the Bot Doing.
What the Bot
by
doing?
Desuvolt.
What is the bot doing there?
What the bot doing?
Dancing. I'm going to say dancing. Just really enjoying.
The bot's having a great time.
It
all right?
is. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and there's our video roundup.
I'm so happy that I don't see these in advance because they're always great to see on a first one.
I love the Shimbo bot over
Shimbo
there.
Bot.
I'm going to do that now. Yeah. All the time. That's how I'm going to do every segment from here on out.
Just from here on out. I like it. I'll hold you to that. So there you go.
Okay. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, let's jump into other things we got coming because we got some retrofits.
Oh, very good.
Which are coming for the Frozen Voyager for 5K Steel, and this will be for all the Outlanders.
Mm-hmm.
So all heroes should have these now, so you can with Afira. Because the hips don't lie. And then I believe we have some content of the week, if I am not mistaken.
That's right. So yes, whilst the next season starts next week, today we have a Medjai Hero Fest with his first unique execution, Neferka's Decree, and to answer the question,
and it ledges.
So check that out for 7K Steel. And next week on September 14th, we have a mythic outfit available for all heroes, Theater of Deceit.
And it is gorgeous.
It is amazing. I absolutely, this is one of the coolest looking ones like we have done forever. I
But
don't
wait,
know.
there's more.
There is more. You get to see it on the emote
It's
too.
an emote.
We just wanted to see it on more options there, so it's really good.
I always love it when Conk bonks himself.
Conk the bonk, absolutely every time. And also we have a limited time execution next week, September 14th through October 5th. I have chops. This is a favorite of one of our art directors here, Andrew.
Yeah.
We know how much he loves this one because of the extra flavor on
The forbidden dumpling.
The forbidden dumpling, the extra little taste of flavor on that one. So that is pretty good too.
So yeah, you can look for these on September 7th, September 14th, respectively. And September's roadmap is live, should be live on the Reddit. But here you go. If you want to screen cap it, and if it's not up there already, and you want to beat us to the punch, well, knock yourself out. We got a lot of stuff coming up this month.
Yeah,
packed.
Packed.
It's packed. But we've also got an arcade quest. We've got Burning Embers. The weekly quest was as is tradition for Marching Fire owners, which hopefully should be everyone by now. If not, I have questions.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not going to ask them, but I do have them. But yeah, here it is. And then we've also got the Vanquisher Challenge, which will be September 8th through September 11th. Be the faction with the most matches won. Samurai were leading all the factions recently, so maybe.
Come on, Knights.
Maybe,
come on, where are you at? Let's get back.
My weebish friends, you need to do the thing.
Knights.
I just want to see green once before I die, please.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
But yeah, don't forget to follow us on everywhere that For Honor exists, and we got rid of all the weird underscores and extra letters, so we're just For Honor Game everywhere. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Follow us right here on Twitch, because some of you aren't, and I'm perplexed. I am forever perplexed by that.
Just follow us. It's a great time.
You need
we have
you need
a great
notifications. And don't forget to follow the Ubisoft YouTube as well. Make sure and subscribe. Click that little bell.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think that's everything for today.
Yep.
So thank you, everybody at home, for tuning in, and we will see you next time or on the battlefield. No, don't. You blow it.
Oh, no.
You blow it.
Oh, it's really good.
We're all screwed.